Hello everyone! Today is the day we start decorating the Shabby Chic journal. I'm going to demonstrate what I think are the most essential techniques for creating the Shabby Chic style, and that is layers and lace. All of these other things are fun. The motifs are fun. Floral images and French labels are so iconic when it comes to shabby. But if you will remember these two words, you'll have a shabby journal. Layers and lace. That's the foundation, I think, of shabby style. And maybe some soft dimension. Layers and lace. So this I have kind of illustrated in the very center of the journal. I have layers, several layers. I have this lace edge, paper lace, and then I have this soft dimension here in this crinkled ribbon. So that's kind of, in my mind, that's the most essential. Before we get started on decorating, I need to kind of catch you up on what I've done in the journal. So I took the papers and trimmed them. I collated the papers. I prepared several items that kind of are easier to do before something gets bound in. So I did some things already, and I have spent some time filming that, and I'm going to play just a little bit of that. It's about 8 minutes. This is going to be kind of a long video, so I hope you'll get comfortable. I don't mean really, really long, but it will be a little longer than normal. So let me put on some music and I will let you look at what I have done before now. And then I'll come back and we'll talk about the elements like pockets and tucks, how to do some layering, and the lace is added on the pages already. So I will see you again in a few minutes. as I mentioned, I'm going to focus on making layers, and we'll use some other things, like I have some vintage buttons, I have made some clusters, we're gonna do a little altered paperclip, and just several elements that I hope will be helpful for you to see. I'm going to make an element that I have used over and over again. It's one of my favorite things. So it takes just like about a 4x6 shape, and then a smaller image. I've chosen a floral image here. And this is that little ditzy print that I told you about the other day. And I'm going to glue this down. And in order to save time through the video today, I will probably edit out some things. So I hope you'll be able to follow along. So there's the first layer. Well, here's the first layer is behind, and then this layer. And now I'm just going to glue this smaller piece on top. Just make this little double stacked tuck. I've mentioned before that I do little clusters when I sit and watch TV at night, and that's what this is. This is what I'm talking about soft dimension. It's soft materials that create depth, and I'm just going to glue that on top of this base. And then that will fit right over the page like that. Okay, now we need some ephemera for here and here. Okay, so let's put that aside. And I want to show you how to make a really easy layered ephemera. So a lot of people have been doing this kind of document style kind of thing. So I have gathered several layers. I'm going to start with this. This is just a piece of vintage music paper. I'm going to add, this is just a page from a garden book. I love these hollyhocks. Yeah, so that's going to go on top. And then this is just a little piece of someone's notes. It's a very pale green color. I'm going to put that, layer that there. And then this came out of, it was an interleaf kind of tissue in a book, and that's going on here as well. And then all I did was just fold that up in thirds, and then I am folding this back, and now so that creates a layer here. So I'm going to just put this little tiny picture here as well in the corner, and then I'm going to just punch a little hole and use a little tiny brad to pin these papers together. So that's just a little bundle of paper, and some of it you can journal on, and some of it is just there to create, you know, a pretty decoration. Okay, so the next, I have several things here already done. You remember we did this, some time ago now, those little altered envelope tuck things, and I did this one with this journal in mind, and I'm going to place this over the short, and that's going to go right here in the journal, and And now I think that looks good also. Yeah. And we'll come up with some ephemera to fit in there as well. So now we have this page and this pretty lace pocket. And so you saw me use this little image right here. This came from Cara Brandon. She not only has that other cluster ephemera kit that we talked about the other day, but she has a brand new Shabby cluster kit in her shop, and it's just darling. Perfect. It's perfectly shabby. So I'm going to send you over again to her shop to look at this one. She's got, you know, different layers. So she has different pieces for making these layered clusters. She's got some neutral papers. She has some other kinds of prints, some wallpaper prints that can be used as the base for the cluster. And then she has all these little bits and pieces, some labels, some buttons. She has some really fun textured pages in there, some little washi tapes and other kinds of these, like the motifs that we're talking about. She has these little parts to make clusters, and I took this off of this page. So I will use some of her images, and I want to make like a cluster tag to fit in this pocket. So I'm going to trim this down. So now this piece I can save and maybe make something else with that. I'm going to trim around the corners like I always do. And part of the reason, I think I've mentioned this, part of the reason is because then when you put the journal card into the pocket, the corners don't catch on it and make it difficult. So that's going to make it easier. So now I need to distress the edges here. Let's put a little stamp here on the top. Okay, now I'm going to build a cluster on the side here. And I started with these two images that came off of this page. So I just cut those out. I'm going to use a piece of this. This is like vegetable netting. You know, that onions and cantaloupe, that kind of thing comes in that. I'm going to put that down, and I'm just going to glue this on the side like that. So using that netting, it just kind of creates a little bit of texture. Now on this side, I think I'm just going to put this coupon right there. So we've got a cluster on this side and a cluster on this side. And then that is going to slide right in there. I like the way that looks too. Okay, the next thing is going to be this pretty paper, which what I did was fold it up and fold it together, and then I have done my little corner punch there, and I want to distress it. But I wanted to mention that you don't have to distress. If you don't like the distressed look, then feel free to just leave it bright. Shabby can be vintage combined, you know, with the vintage style, or it can be more up to date, and it doesn't have to have, you know, it does need some kinds of distress, like distressed paint, or, you know, some of those things, because that's part of what shabby is kind of distressed, soft, and worn out looking, but you don't have to do all the distressed ink. Distress this edge too. Now this, I just want to slide over the page like that, and then I will get a little rusted oxidized paper clip. Let's put a twist on it. Let's tie a ribbon on that. So this is just some sari silk. Did you notice that I did not make the knot? Yeah, I'm just tying the bow on. That's going to keep it's going to keep the loops tight against the clip, and then it's going to make it so that there's not this great big knot right there. Okay, so there's that page. So this is what I'm talking about, soft dimension. All right, now this page, this is a vintage envelope, and I am going to glue that as a tuck, top tuck. That is beautiful on its own, I think. I could do something, we could put something on there, but one of the things that I think about shabby style is you need to leave some things slightly more plain, slightly less decorated. With styles that are really decorative, where there's a lot going on, sometimes you need to give your eye a place to rest from all of the chaos. You need to have some places that are just more restful. And so that's what this page is going to be. Now we have this beautiful, this is a vintage postcard from, I can't read the year, but it's very, very old. And it's embossed, it's beautiful, beautifully textured. And I just want to put this in the journal because it's just such a beautiful piece. And so I'm going to just rest that on this side. I mean, you could slide that under there. There is certainly plenty of room under this tuck for lots of journaling paper. We're just going to clip that on there, right there. And I think that makes a pretty spread. Okay, and this little piece just came from my stash somewhere. I don't know where this is. It was in my drawer of ephemera. So this is going to be another page that is somewhat restful. I'm just going to glue this down. It could be a pocket, but I'm just going to make it a tuck. And I've mentioned this before. If you glue on 3 sides, it becomes a pocket. And if you glue on 2 sides, it becomes a tuck. And pockets, doesn't have a very smooth edge. Pockets are restricted, as you'll see in just a moment, but tucks, there is more room. A pocket, if I glue this down, then that restricts the space that I have available to put something in it. But if I leave that one side open, then it makes it way easier to get things in and out, and you don't have to worry about it being so narrow that it has to fit in the pocket. Okay. So again, I'm going to leave this. I might come back with some glossy accents and maybe do some glossy accents on the birds to help them stand up a little bit, or the flowers. I don't know. We'll see. But I do think it's important to just have some pages when it's very decoratively intense. You need to have some places for your eyes to rest. This is a little embellishment that I made to just dangle on that page. I've added just some crinkled ribbon here with a little bit of lace. I did create this pocket. You saw me glue that down, and I've just done another little cluster. Looks like that needs some more glue. So that I have this pretty cluster ribbon here, and this is just going to slide down in there. So it is embossed, and then it's inked. This was in a swap somehow. I don't remember who made it, but it's very pretty, and it's been in my drawer for a long time, and it's perfect for that pocket. And then on this page, I want to do just, this is called a Rita Donnelly flip. I think Rita Donnelly made it maybe first a long time ago, but gosh, hundreds of journal makers have made it ever since. So thanks so much, Rita, for making that fun corner flip pocket. This is one of the pockets that I first learned how to make. I'm going to glue that in now, and then I'm going to come back and make a little, kind of a large photo corner, and then it will have a little closure. And then we'll make some ephemera in a minute for the pockets. So let's see. Yeah, this is the next thing that I have done. I want to put this pocket right here. This is just from one of those flip recipe books, and it had the holes in the top already for the rings, so I just wound a ribbon through there, and I'm going to glue this down. And I'm going to come back in the next video and do some further decoration on some of these pockets. I want to show you how to do some mixed media textured paint kinds of things. I want to come back with some texture paste and put some further decoration on this. So we'll do that. And I don't know if I'll film it or if you'll just see it in the flip through, but there's that. Here is a vintage playing card that I thought matched really well there. So I just kind of roughed it up a little bit with some sanding, and I want to just kind of make that into a tuck spot. So that's easy. Here's a pretty lace pocket, needs some ephemera. This is some vintage wallpaper. It's kind of rough, but it's got these beautiful roses on it, and I'm gonna make just a patch pocket right here. So that needs a tag and maybe some texture paste. Here is a pocket here. Here's another vintage envelope, and similar to what I did with the envelope back here, I want to do another one on this side of the signature. So this is just the front of the envelope. It doesn't have a back. The other one I can create a little bit of a hidden journaling spot, which I will probably do, but this is just going to be here in the corner. Okay, and then on this page, I want to put this pocket. So we'll come back and decorate that later. Here's another beautiful ruffle, and this is a card that I found. It's like a postcard of some kind in a book. That's German, but anyway, it's printed. That has some texture to it. It doesn't show up on camera, but it's beautiful, and the colors are perfect. That's like maybe even some hand coloring. But I have made this to be kind of a little tab over on this side, so it's going to hang off the page a little. So I'm going to glue it here and across the bottom. So again, I could glue this down, but that would end up restricting the movement for putting papers in here. So I think I'm just going to leave that open as a tuck, and then it will be easier to get the papers in and out. And I like the way that looks too. And there it is on this side. I have just included this little piece of ephemera that was in my drawer. It's a digital, I think, but I glued that there for a top tuck. And I made this little pocket out of a scrap of vintage book page. And then this is a beautifully hand tatted along here. I hope you can see that. It's just gorgeous. This was some hand stitching here around the edge of that. Maybe it was a napkin, I'm not really sure, but maybe a handkerchief. Anyway, it's beautiful tatting, so I've used that there. And just a coffee dyed index card, and this is a modern receipt, but I have coffee dyed it, and then just put this little tab there with a piece of fabric. And so that's done. Avocado dyed there. We'll probably do some stenciling. And here's the back page. And I want to, let me clip this, hold it closed. And I just have this pretty piece of, this is polyester lace, but I've coffee dyed it, and the coffee stays in some parts and leaves other parts white, which I think is very pretty. And I'm just going to make a lace pocket here for the back. Okay, and then I have coffee dyed this glassine bag, just a little candy bag, and I will put some ephemera in there, and then that will slide there in the back pocket. Okay, so there's the basic journal with all of its pockets and tucks. That's pretty good. And this video has gone on a long time, and I still have things to teach you about layering. So I'm going to stop the video here, and we will combine this ephemera with the next techniques that I have planned. So I will see you again with part 2 of decorating the shabby journal. Thanks so much for being with me today. I hope this has been helpful, and I'll see you again with that project.